Oh, how life gets in the way when you want to do something, especially when you're an adult. So, I think I'll prattle on about all the obstructions in a channel update video here coming up. But for right now, there has been an addendum, and you'll see a very familiar name on the addendum. I don't remember exactly what I said, and usually for me that's not so much of a problem because generally it's a good practical policy to always tell the truth, so that way you don't have to remember what you said. But I don't even remember. But anyway, I think I made some allusion to there might be more to the rules packet coming into the Chalice meeting, and it's a week from now from when I'm recording it. Oh, I better get this done. So there's been an addendum. There's 2 rules changes to the packets. They come out of, wait for it, District 17, my district. Because I noticed, oh yeah, we passed some things and it wasn't in the packet, and I didn't want to rage on too much in the previous videos without knowing what was happening. Turns out they just fell through the cracks, and State Party was actually pretty apologetic about it. Although I'm going to have a little bit of conversation on how exactly to avoid this in the future, because it was either the night of or the morning after that particular District 17 meeting where I volunteered to just take care of sending it into the party. The secretary and the chairman were fine with that, just me sending it in. And so I used this web form. And then it just sort of disappeared. And then it didn't appear in the rules packet. So anyway, I'm going to transition into the bottom part, because the rules packet now is the exactly same except for 2 things at the end. Oh, 2 things at the end. I can't do it like that. I got to do it like that. So here we are with a proposed amendment to Article 3, Section 3 of the state rules. This one has a really boring reason for existing, and as you can see in here, has some really boring text. But where this comes from is the winter meeting, and it was not exactly an easy thing for me during that time to attend that meeting and whatnot. So I was making a lot of effort to be there and to be involved, and I was catching the end of the redistricting committee meeting, and apparently there was a lot of concern about not only because of how the regions are going to be readjusted, but some of this is going to be a problem if the current rules that we have for how and when and where a region committee meets, all that stuff is going to be a problem. So talking about it with a couple people, and I said, well, Matt, you're really good with writing rules and stuff. Why don't you tackle this one? And so I did. And basically it just came down to we need to have rules that are for that, very much like how districts are meeting, and so that's what this is. And one thing I noticed about these 2 submissions, that I have a nasty habit, doing this on video is apparently very offensive in a lot of the other Anglophonic world. Like, you go to Britain and you do this, it's a really offensive gesture. This is fine, this is not. But I'm surprised that the State Party just pumped the 2 documents in, because they left in the what this does and the why stuff. I've made reference to this before in other videos where using this format. I didn't think that they would just leave this other text in. But yeah, the rule change actually is. It just inserts the phrase at various meetings within the region or in conjunction with the service. It has the phrase or at a location within the region or within an adjacent region. It's literally all it does. I say as much in here and added the context, especially in more sparse areas of the state, because that's generally where this concern that made this rule comes from, and plan on exactly why. And that's pretty much it. Now, I'm going to move to the next one. And this is going to seem rather convenient, but I swear to you that we came up with this not knowing what Trent Clark had presented, and it is a directly opposing rule. And maybe I mouthed off a little bit as to what the motivations were for his rule, but I didn't exactly lie either. So this second one, it has the amend Article 1, Section 15, Subsection 8, Paragraph 1. So it's like really in there. You have to be really specific about where this is, because they've put a lot of code in there. Receive written rules and blah, 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 blah. See, it's got all this stuff. And then the committee chairman may present temporary rules to the committee for the purpose of prioritizing and or rejecting resolutions at the discretion of the committee. Such rules shall be effective upon a majority vote. The committee may, before the consideration of any resolution, and that part is key. It's a very big part of how this is going to work without without misrepresenting a lot of the constituent areas of the party. The committee may, before the consideration of any resolution, reject any resolution upon a motion which shall not be debatable, a second and a majority vote. And I had to put that in because if we just said motion, second and majority vote, it would have been debatable. It would have been debatable, and that would have drawn out the process even more. And in text down there, I kind of more spell out why drawing out is really a concern here. But there's a little thing that in all like rules or bylaws of any organization that uses Robert's Rules. And it says, well, Robert's Rules is what applies as long as it doesn't, where our bylaws and whatever applicable law, is silent on it. So, now Robert's Rules would say that this is debatable, but we're looking to get rid of the debate in here because if a majority of the room doesn't even want to hear the resolution, doesn't even want to hear it, you're already wasting that committee's time then. And if you want the situation to be otherwise, you should really do the work, as the phrase that I've been using in all of these videos. You should do the work to get people to want to hear it and to pass it. And there have been over the years a lot of resolutions that shouldn't have got as far as the state level either, and this is referencing both not convention and convention, because they're two different animals a lot of time, but in this context they're the same, at least as far as spelling out the problem. So a few examples, like this is a little bit too easy, a little bit too easy of an example, but I'm going to do it anyway. Some 10, 12 years ago, there was a person who was looking to disrupt, degrade, and draw out proceedings in the party, and so he submitted a resolution that basically was going to make Jedi the official religion of the state. Now, it's a funny joke. Not so funny when you're wasting time like that. I could think of a bunch of others, especially there were a few at the convention in Twin Falls last year where there's no way that that resolution was going to pass, even with debate and making your case. So there's way too much of that, and maybe some parts of the party think of a resolution, this or that resolution, as less important, and so they'll be voting against it anyway. And if there are enough of such people that say, well, no, and they are of that attitude going into the meeting, it's not going to matter whether your resolution was good or not. It's not going to pass, and unfortunately, you're just wasting time in that situation. But they left in the what this does and the why, and I pretty much said as much. Allows more latitude for a resolutions committee chairman to put forward temporary rules for the purposes of prioritizing and or rejecting resolutions as a time-saving measure. And prioritizing is also a good one because, if there's a very crowded room and a good chunk of the reason why the room is crowded is for one or a couple of resolutions, maybe we should be putting those at the front of the line too. That would save a lot of time and a lot of heartache as well. Also, I just spent a whole bunch of time saying, oh, well, yeah, we should be able to reject really bad ones quickly. And that's literally all that is. And the why, I think I've alluded to already, but I'm just going to read it out loud here. Why? It is not an unfamiliar problem that state resolutions committees won't have enough time to complete their agenda. It is hoped that empowering a chairman to suggest temporary rules for the day will save time, especially if resolutions that are less likely to pass are given less priority. It is also hoped that if the committee sees fit to reject any resolution, that it should be allowed to do so quickly. The idea is that if the committee is already so much against a resolution, that removing debate on it will save time. And that's literally all that that stuff is. And let's see how long I've been recording for now. About 13 minutes or so. Okay, so I think I'll transition over to, yep. So that's what's going on there. I don't think I have much more to say about those because, well, I think I'm just going to head into presenting them along with the other big item in Chalice, and I'll definitely be there. I've made certain arrangements. I can't really go back on them now, so I'm kind of locked in. I'm going to do another platform video here. I might just. I'm really tempted to just do the rest of it if it takes like 2 hours, but I'm going to do at least a good chunk of what's remaining on that, and then I'll do a channel update video. But for right now, I thank you very much for watching. Interact with it. Put a comment if you have something to say. Press like and whatnot. Share it if you feel like it. And you all have a good day.